Okay, once you have vectorized your image, the next thing that we're going to do is bring it into Photoshop. So I'm going to select everything here. I'm going to group this. So I'll press Control G or Command G, depending upon your platform. And then I'm going to open up Photoshop, where I have a similarly sized canvas set up, 1080 by 1080. I'll press Control R to turn my rulers, or Command R if you're on a Mac, and then I'm going to press Control V or Edit and paste. Now I edit copied in Adobe Illustrator, and I want to bring this in as a smart object, but I don't want to add it to my current library. I'm going to click OK. It's going to bring this in as a vector graphic, and I can resize this. I'm going to hold the Alt-Option key just so I can make this a little bit bigger, like so, and I'm going to check and commit that change. Okay, now the next thing that I'm going to do is in my toolbar, I'm going to grab the Magic Wand tool. W is the keyboard shortcut for that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of the brown part of this monkey. So that would be the arm, these fingers, this tail, this leg, this hand, finger, and then this part of his head and his ear. All right, so I just held Shift in order to select more than one thing at the same time. And then I'm going to create a new layer right here. I'm going to grab my brush tool, and I'm going to choose a color brown to color in this drawing. So I like that color right in here. I'll use a large brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and fill this all in. I'm doing this on a new layer, and for this particular technique, I just want to fill the whole thing in, like so. Now next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and repeat that process. So grab my vector layer right here. I'm going to grab this face area. I don't really know what else you would call that. And I will choose a sort of pale yellowish color right in here. You can choose whichever colors you think look best for you. I'm going to go to my colored layer right here, and I'm just going to go ahead and color that in like so. I will deselect by pressing Control D, grab my Magic Wand tool, click on the tongue. This time I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab a tongue sort of color, so I'll go right in here. I don't know if that's perfect, but it's good enough, and I'll go ahead and I'll fill that in. And now the next thing I'm going to do is fill in the mouth area. I'm going to do like a dark charcoaly sort of gray, not quite black, but down in that area here. Grab my color layer, grab my brush, fill that in, Command D to deselect. And now the last thing I'm going to do is the hat. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my vector layer. I will click here in the bill. I'll zoom in, hold the Shift key, grab here. I'm going to leave this part of the hat white, but this and this I want to make. If we look back at the original one, you can see that it was green. I'm going to make this one a blue hat. Right, so I'll come down here, grab a fun blue, grab my brush tool, grab my color layer, and I will color that all in like so. All right, now the final technique that we're going to do is we're going to add in another layer. So I'm going to go to File, I'm going to go to Place Embedded. And then what I'm going to do is go into my February folder, grab this crayon.jpg image and hit place. Now I'm going to resize this so that it covers all of the colored area of my drawing. It might take a second for it to process. We'll let that spin away as it is right here. And you'll see that it's below my Vector Smart Object layer. And I just resized it so that it covered everything. You'll see what I'm going to try to do is make that crayon texture come through on the colored layer. So I'm going to use blend modes for that. If I go down to either lighten or screen, you can play around to see which one works best for you. I'm going to choose lighten, and then I'm going to lower my opacity down to like 30%, maybe 25%. That's just going to bring in that sort of crayon texture, as you can see right here. All right, so then go ahead and save that and submit that. If you need to do any sort of fine tuning, you absolutely can. For example, this blue right here looks a little bit, looks like I missed a spot. So I could just come in here, grab a small brush, and then computer's having a hard time keeping up. I could just color that in blue. There we go. Color that in blue like so. All right, save that, submit that, and here we go.